All right. Good morning once again. Sorry for the delay. Just have to put one or two things in order. Okay. Do we have any question arising from the last class? Or how many of us here actually do something else related to what we learned last time, the topic? Do I have anybody who want to show us what
I
he...
actually did something.
Okay.
I did calculator, and at the
Yeah.
same time I tried to do something like give out the 7 days in a week, starting from Sunday, but that was a little bit not clear. Didn't come out the way I expected. So I don't know
Yeah.
what actually happened. I've been trying, but because I don't have much time,
Okay. Thank you for making attempts.
I don't know if I can share my.
Okay, so just quickly share your screen. Let's see. Meanwhile, if we have any other person, I will just take one more before we proceed. So you can go ahead and share your screen now. Let's see those two apps you developed.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen, but if you can make it a little bit bigger, that would be nice.
Ah,
But if you can't, I believe
okay,
others to
yeah.
see it better. Okay, so can you explain what you are trying to achieve? This one is working, right? This is the one that is working.
No, this one is not working.
Okay, so what
It,
actually are you trying to achieve?
what, it's okay. What I'm trying to achieve here was that I wanted to make 7 days of the week. So
Okay,
that make first day one to be Sunday, day two to be Monday, day three Tuesday, and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, after I input all my syntax like this, then I now got this one now asking me to be putting the name. If I
of, of the days.
if you see my
Your
output now,
console. Your console
it will give me enter one,
for each day. Is that yes?
enter one. Once I enter one, I put Sunday. Well,
Yeah,
it will give me enter two, put Monday.
which is Monday.
So I was thinking it's not supposed to be like that.
And no, that is actually the program you designed, sir. Because you use the inputs and you were asking for the
Okay.
days, sir. Your program is as good as you wanted it,
Yes.
sir. That is what you
Okay.
designed, sir. Your program is working perfectly. If you look at your code here, you say day equals to 3, should print out Tuesday, right? Input, enter
Yes.
4.
Yes.
Then day 4
Yes.
equals to 4, print out Wednesday. Perfect. There's no error, sir. That is the program you develop. All right. So let's hear from
Okay.
another person. I think this should be Yomi Abi. I think it's the same person bearing Yomi that is bearing Rashada.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm Yemi. I'm full-time Borishade.
Okay. I just want to
Yes.
take note of
My
the name.
surname is Borishade, so my real name.
Okay. Just want to take down the name.
Yes.
The next person, do we have anybody who has also attempted building something else using the concept of what we learned last time? You remember, I advised us to go and look at it. Okay, I think I have Oluwatobi Emmanuel want to say something. Oluwatobi Emmanuel, please, you can go ahead.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
So I sent what I did to the chat. I don't know what's up. It's not my system is not connecting like the Zoom, so I'm using my phone to
But
join the class. So
so
I sent the snap of what I did. So basically what I just
Okay.
did was for like a loan to know the people that have like people within a particular amount, like particular range of balance will be
okay,
accessible to so particular interest, and those that are below that will not be eligible. Something like that. So that's what I did and I sent
and
on the
it
group.
worked. And it was right.
Yes, it worked. It worked. Yes.
Okay, so others after the class, you go there and explore. That might be an opportunity for you to look at it from another angle, like Mr. You may have just presented. Adivin is able to join with his laptop. We'll have asked him to share. So others, you can take your time later. So that is Solu Atsubi Emmanuel. Do we still have, let me see if I can take one more, because what I actually have for us this evening is to develop the other app. We are supposed to create 3 different apps, and I told us that based on the time that was remaining, we have a little bit more complex app that we use the same function concepts, which I said I'm going to start
Good
with.
evening, sir.
Good evening, your name and if possible,
My name
tell
is
us.
Mercy.
Okay.
Yes, so I actually did something. I just followed the pattern
Okay.
you taught us last week. And
Or you coin it differently for something else, right? Or
yes.
okay. Are you joining with your laptop?
Yes, I'm sharing my laptop. Am I
Okay.
sharing already?
You are not sharing.
So can you see my screen?
No, I can't. So others will check if they can. Me, I can.
We can't see your screen.
No, we can't
Okay.
see your screen. Oh.
Okay,
Okay, it's
just hold
coming
on.
up. It's
I'll see
coming
it.
up. It's coming up. It's coming up. Yeah, I can see. So can you explain your program?
Okay, yes. What I actually did was I defined a function, then I used price as an input.
Okay.
Then I listed my price 100, 90, 80. Then I now take user input for price and print the amount. So this is my calculation. It's very short because like I said, I've just followed your pattern
Yeah.
that you took us last week. So I
So run it.
try,
Let's see. Run it. Let's see how the app is working.
okay, stop on, okay. So I entered my market price and then
Okay. So
I
one.
got my return.
You say
Yes.
one represents 100 naira.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's equivalent to what Yemi did. Okay, which is good. All right. So thank you very much. I think I've gotten Mr. Ifeanyi, do you have anything to show us? Because I want to go into the class now. Anyway, there is no time because I don't want us to rush this app because there are a lot of concepts that we need to learn around it. So if I'm able to finish it before 9, then we can just start introduction to control structure, and then tomorrow we consolidate on it better. All right, so welcome to Digital Zeal Hub. I want to appreciate those that have been following since we started this Python programming challenge, and those that have been attempting, and those that have not been doing anything. We also appreciate you for joining, but just make sure that you do something. You can see those that are sharing their screen, that are telling us what they did. In case you don't know, it has a way of building more confidence in them, and it has a way of continuing to push them to the breakthrough line. So let's make sure that we do the same, others. Okay, so like I told us, we are going to continue with the app developments. We are still the main function that we have learned some weeks ago is Python, which is Python function. And what we are doing is that after understanding the structure on how to define Python's function and how to give it inputs and the rest, we started looking at basic apps that we can actually use function concepts to develop that can solve a real life problem for individuals, as basic as they are. Right. So I'm going to actually create a different file because I don't want to be scrolling up and down. So I'm going to create a different file, and then we look at the third app. Now, once I've done creating the file, I'll tell us the flow charts, what exactly we want the app, the solution we want the app to have, or the problem the app is designed or will be designed to solve. And then we'll look at the flow chart, how we intend to provide that solution. So I already have about 3 different files. So this is a new class that I just started. I think I'll announce it in the group. There's a new complete Python class that is from basic to the advanced. For those that are following here, that class is not for you. Except you have someone else that is interested. So we just started it, and the class runs on the, think of Wednesday 9 to 11, 9 p.m. And then on Thursday is just like an hour between 7 to 8 or 8:30. You have anyone that, so it's not like this one, it's not an empowerment, it's a complete program, but whoever you have, if they chat me, we'll see how we can accommodate them. All right, so to create a different file, once I'm in my project folder, where I have the current file listed, so I will just go to File and then click on the New, not New Projects. Click on New, and then I will indicate what type of file. And then I could just say app.py. So I have a new app, new file. Let me add this. All right, so I have to switch to the current file as usual to avoid not implementing the code. So just to communicate the plan of tonight with comments, like I said, we are looking at developing third app rather, developing third app. And what do we intend to achieve with this app? So we're going to create a calculator. Create a calculator with function. So that is actually the emphasis, with function for addition. So this calculator is going to perform addition calculation, is going to perform subtraction calculation. This app is also going to perform multiplication, and then of course division, multiplication. So a single calculator that we have the ability to perform all dimensions calculation operations. Right? So the tax that is like the flow chart, how we are going to achieve this, just to give us the schema or the structure. So we are going to start by defining, because of those that are making their notes, so we are going to start by defining a function. And then after that, we will take users. We will take users inputs. So this is just like the flow charts for numbers and operation. So after this, we will now call the corresponding we will now call the corresponding functions, corresponding function, and print the results. All right, so so this is how we are going to roll with the app. So to start with, we are going to define, like I've just outlined, we are going to start by defining a function. So we say define the first one. Remember, we said the app is expected to all right, so sorry. So we define a function, like I've already stated at the top. This app calculator is to perform 4 different operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So which means that we are going to define function for each of these operations. So I'm starting with addition. So I can just name it add. And now this is going to be a function with inputs. I believe we must have understood that when we started, that we have function without input. In other words, the input is what the value you are giving when you are calling the function. So if you are talking about function input, definitely you must talk about function parameter. We've established all this. The parameter, they are like the container that you have created to absorb or to accept the input when they are finally supplied. So because it's going to perform addition, we cannot give just a number, let's say 5. We have to give 2 input, which also require 2 parameters. For example, in the case of addition, I will want the calculator to accept 5 as one number, then take an operator, which is plus, and then supply the next number, let's say 10, and then it will add the 2 values. So for that, it means that you need to give the function 2 parameters. So those 2 parameters, I can just say A and B, because we are expecting this calculator to receive 2 values. I just want us to understand that. Now, remember, our function standard syntax is that we have to put a colon there and then go down. And then after you have went down, you have to, return the results using the return keyword, which we have also explained. So this function will return whatever input that is given to A and B. All right, so I will say return A plus, because of the addition, plus B. So that is the end of the first function for the addition. So I'll do the same for subtraction, do the same for multiplication, do the same for division. So that is what I'm going to do now. So I'll start with defining a different function, and then I can just name this one subtract, 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 and then that will also receive input, and the input is still as A and what? B. And then of course your colon here, and then enter return A minus B. I hope someone is getting the logic. Now I'll create another one which is for multiplication. So I will just say multiply, and then the input will be comma B as well, and then I will say return A times B, and of course we know that we represent times with asterisk, so shift and 8 and B. Right, so once we still have for division, we still have to write the same for division. So we define function for division. So I can just say divide. Let me just call it this way. Divide, and then the same input, we receive A input, we receive another number, and then define your column, and then we also return A. You return A for division, you return A. I think for division, we want to do something. We can as well say return A slash B. But we understand that the what we call floats, if you remember, floats are number with decimal, while we have what we call modulus, that is an operator also that divide a number and only outputs the remainder. So for in the case of division, we want to bring a little bit towards a condition for something. So before we return, just to try to take care of the zero, we will say if B is equals to 0, something else should be outputted. Return error. Return error. And the error name should be division by 0. That is if then the B number, just like we are saying, 5 divided by 0. So we don't want such. That is why we are creating this if statement to handle that, so that the person will know that, oh, error, division by 0. Now, before if it is not, so we have, since we are bringing the statement, we have to put another colon there to avoid that error. So if it is not, then finally return A slash B. I hope someone is following. Let me get at least one person's response before I continue.
Yeah, you're following.
All right.
So, you, sir.
All right. So now once we have achieved this, then the next thing is for us to create variable to receive those values. we have to create variable that will receive the value. Remember, we said we intend to collect value A, value B, right? From the structure of the code, once a value is selected, then somewhere as we continue with the app, we are going to also, program where it will select the plus, select minus, select those operators. So, but for now, let's say we have a variable called what? Num1. And the reason is that we are trying to implement data conversion technique that we have learned before now. Because somebody can call a float number. For example, somebody can say 90.5 divided by. So we are giving room for that if there is a decimal number that is given among the two what are projected inputs. So we can just say floats. We are going to put our input inside it. So which means that whatever number we collect, it should convert it to what? Float. So this is the same concept like we use for the assignments. One of the challenge that I converted to assignment, for those that did it, you understand what is happening here. So I can say that enter first number, because we need to get this number from the users before the calculator can use them to perform the calculation. So, so that is the first one. So the next one will, because we are targeting two numbers from our function, we define two parameters, A and B. So you cannot just create for one number. You have to also get the second number before you specify which operator will be used, like I told us. So I will now say num2 is equals to, I will say input num2, sorry, I need to convert it to float to make room for float. Float input inside it. And then same thing, enter second number rather. Right? So now with this, we have already, if you look at the structure that we have already defined, we did mention that we take user input for numbers and what? Operation. So at this point now, I have defined the function, which is the first one. We have taken the user input, but we have not taken the operation, because the operation is the operator that will influence the results. So for example, you collect 5 from the user and you collect 6, 5 as the first number, 6 as the second number, then the calculator will still be looking for how do I perform the calculation. So the moment I give the calculator times, the calculator knows that, oh, those two numbers are to multiply themselves. If I give the calculator plus, oh, the two numbers are to what? Add themselves. That is the operation that will now involve the operators. All right. So if I may just use comment here, at this point, we start adding what? Operators. We start adding operators for the calculation. So bringing the operator here, we are going to use the conditional statements. Like I told us in the last class, this conditional statement is under a topic called control structure, which a topic we are positioning for stylishly after this topic. So which means that this function, we have already started borrowing some of the concepts of the Python control structure. So that as soon as we get there by tomorrow, we will not find it difficult. So, because there are probabilities of somebody entering plus, there are also probability of somebody entering times operator or minus or division. So that is why we have to put the if statement. Since we are creating room for multiple operators entry, somebody can enter plus, somebody can enter minus, somebody can enter. So we have to use what? Elif. Elif is for declaring what? Multiple option under the if statement. So the if statement becomes the principal conditional statement. Then because you want to give multiple, option or decision to make, then you now use what? The elif. So that's exactly the structure I am going to use. So I'm going to say if operation is equals to, then I will capture the operator. Remember, we've spoken about operator. Operators are these symbols that we use in programming that have their expression. Plus represent addition. So we recognize it as a string. So remember, once I mention string, you mean that it's going to be inside the what? The quote. So I'll put a plus sign here. So this is one of the condition. So if it is this, you put a column because it's a statement. If it is this, what will happen? If the user enter operation equals to what plus, what will happen? I want Python to print something. So what Python should print, if it is equals to this, then Python prints the add function that we created. Remember, we have created it. So the same name you use. And then add what are the variables that will have collected the value that will be added. Remember, you call them num what? 1 and num2. So you just use comma to separate them. So this is just like you are giving the function the inputs. While at the level of A and B, you give the function, you created empty container that are now receiving the value, which we refer to as what? The parameter. So I will just say what? num2. Right? So that is for that. But we are still creating more because we have just created for plus. What about if the person enter what? Minus. What about if the person enter multiplication? What about if the person enter division? All of these options, they are the true value. Remember, though I've not, but I know I've mentioned it. Remember, whenever you are dealing with logical function, whether in Python, whether in Excel, anywhere, you are dealing with logical function. There are two values that you must ensure that you make provision for. The first value is the true value. The second value is the false value. So all this that you are creating under the if statement, they falls under the true value. That is one of the true value is plus. It can also be true that what? Then we will now finally say that else, after we have defined all the true value, if none of them happen, then something else should happen. So if the operation is equals to, the operator is equals to plus, what Python should do, call the add function. Then there are two numbers that will have been collected. Take them and what? Go to your return. Return says what? A plus B. So that tells Python what to do. All right, I hope we are following. Let me get a response from at least one person.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We are with you, sir.
All right, so I will now do elif. I'll now do elif. So elif, remember, if I'm doing elif, I need to elif operation. Elif operation is equals to, capture it as a string, minus. And then remember that we need to put the colon here because it's a statement. So there is a complaint here. There's a complaint here, unresolved what? Reference. So let me see whether it's indentation issue. But let's just finish writing. We'll debug it. Might just be a minor issue that may not alter the program. So
It's not
elif,
indentation. Is
yeah,
the operation supposed to be operator, not operation?
okay, yeah.
I think so.
We are creating for minus, right? So if it is this, then print what do we want it to print? Print the function subtract. I think we have it here. Print this function and then also supply the two numbers, comma, then 2 as well. All right. So now, so that is for if the case is minus. Now, if the case is, we still have multiplication. So bring in the word, the elif again. Bring in the elif operation. Don't bother about this, we will rectify it. If the operation is equals to times in computing is represented as this, not your normal cross or star. So is a statement. So this we print same logic, call the function multiplication. I know we have a function we have defined, and then also reference the two numbers that will have been collected. Let's say what? Num2. Right? So now we still have to do for division, right? We still have to do for division. So we say elif again. So all these are true value, are possible true values. Then operation is equals to division sign is denoted with this. Now, if you remember when we started this program where we talk about operator, if I want to divide and round up the number to what? An integer, can anybody unmute how the sign I'm going to use? That is in case there's any division and there is a kind of a decimal and I want the whole decimal unit or to be rounded up to one digit, that is a integer. What sign will I use instead of what I'm using right now? Let me know if anybody can still remember. We treated something like that. Can anybody help us while I'm still writing the other section? So print divide, we have divide function, and then divide function, we pass the number as well, number 1, and then comma, number 2. So nobody can attempt that question. Now, okay, somebody want to try?
That slash will be double, not one, not single.
Good, thank you very much. So this slash should be what? Double, because we said this one we approximate it to what? To an integer, which is a whole number. All right. So now, if all these true values are not met, so we now bring in the X. Remember, I told us that you must have a first statement where all these true values are not met. What will Python print? So Python will print invalid. Can be any statement you want to print. Print invalid operation. Invalid operation. All right. So now with this, we have completed the app. So let's run the app and see whether we are on points. So let's run it if it's going to count this as obstacle or not before we change the. I actually wanted us to see, because there are times you can have this kind of error that can be maneuvered. So let's see. All right, so you can see that. So enter first number. Let's say first number is 70. Press enter. Enter second number. Second number is 90. Enter. So you get an error. Okay, so it captured it. So we have to let us debug it out. What does it even say? Name operation is not defined. Name operation is not defined. So let's see whether this is the that's here S again. Okay, let me enter the first number, let's say 50, the second number, let's say 80, which operation is talking about. Name error, name operator is not defined. Do you mean imports? Okay. See how we can debug this out. Comment, just give me a few minutes.